Okay, so let's finish up with the selection exercises, which we had looked at on Thursday, and I think we've gone over most of these. Okay. All right, so let's see. We had done... We're on number 5. Okay, let's do the following thing. Were there any... I'm going to go through... I'm going to pick these, which ones I think are good. Are there any... Let's hit anything that anybody has a question about first. Any questions on the selection exercise? Any... Go ahead. Any... Okay, so let's then... let's give everybody a couple minutes to work on 5 through 11, and I'm also going to do the same thing where we have volunteers put this up, okay? And we're going to take about 20 minutes on this, and then we'll go to the review sheet, okay? The thing is, with the selection, that's the harder stuff. The other stuff is easier. So if you can do the selection, you should be able to do the other things, okay? So let me put these up there, and we can fill these in as we did last week. Okay, so in the meantime, who would like to put up, I shouldn't have gotten rid of the number. Was that 5? 6? Who would like to put up number 6? And then,
Actually,
that's 5. Okay, I thought it was 5. And then somebody can put up number 6. So who, all you have to do is come type it into the compiler. Who wants to do number, input 2 values, print out the largest? Who wants to do this? Otherwise, I'll just start going around the room. Okay, C. Why am I going to say your name? Z, right? I said it right? Yeah, okay. Okay, so Z is going to put up the first one. In the meantime, raise your hand if you need help on this first page. I'll walk around and help you, and we'll put these up. Anybody have who needs help? Yeah. Okay, so then credit allowed is a variable you've declared right here in F, right? So what type did you declare it as? Okay, so you just say credit allowed equals false. Set credit allowed equals false just means credit allowed equals false. Which one are you on? Number 8. So in other words, you already input the balance owed. And if balance owed is greater than 1,000, so you have to have an if statement here. Do you have the if statement? Where's your if statement? Oh, you did it for 7. If balance owed is greater than 1,000, why'd you say 500? No, you did 7. You need to do another one for 8. Do another if statement. That's all you need. If balance owed is greater than 1,000, credit allowed equals false. Yep. No output. Set. Set means assign, right? Question? Everybody should be working on these. Yeah.
Yes. I see this is close to the homework, one of the homework questions,
Okay.
But it says 3 variables.
Okay.
Now, I think I can do 2, just if num1 is greater than num2.
Uh-huh.
But with 3, I had an issue. I said that num2 is less than, num1 is greater than num3. Yeah. Work out.
Right, it won't, so we're going to get to that when we get to 15.
Okay.
So hold that thought. Let's do that. But you're going to need to do. How do you know if num1 is the largest?
We have the largest value.
Well, right, but how would you say that? So num1 is the largest if what?
If it is greater than num2 and num3.
Okay, but hold on. You have to. It's the way you say it. So if num1 is greater than num2, and then what's the second? Then you need another complete statement. Say, you said it? Yes. Does that make sense? You can't do multiple less than inside. You have to spell out each one. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Question? Char for character, correct. No, char gender. The variable type is gender. So he's, well, right. Don't forget to input, too. It says input 2 integer. Okay.
What is it if it's just a word again, not like numbers, like the variable? Is that char, C-A-R?
If it's a single character, it's char. If it's multiple characters, it's string.
String, that's what I wanted
Okay.
to say.
Who has questions? Yeah. CN, last name, and gender. If gender equals M. Now, if it's M, it's got to have single quotes around it, okay? And then you do put parens around the whole thing. Okay, that would be okay. Gender, so single quotes around the M, otherwise it'll think it's a variable. Both M's. And then brackets would be, yeah, you've got them right. Really, they really technically go right underneath the if. That's how it looks better, but you've got, basically you have them in the right spot. Okay? Okay, so he's working on that one. Okay, hold on, let me look at this one. If num1 is greater than num2, see out num1. Else if num1 is equal to num2, numbers are equal. Okay. Is that let's look at this problem a second. Thank you. That's good. He didn't necessarily have to say they were equal. If we enter this is not incorrect. But if you enter a 5 and a 5 and you ask for the largest, what do you expect to print out? 5. So you could have actually done greater than or equals. This is fine too. Let me just do the other one. So the other alternative here is you could have done, and this is totally correct. Oh, wait a second, except you don't want this. You don't need this. Don't need that last guy, because if it's either num1 is greater, num1 is equal, or there's no other test here, because that's the other. Does that make sense? Okay, so the other alternative, which would have also been correct, would have been to do the following. If num1 is greater than or equal to num2, else num2. That would have been okay in this case, because all it says is print out the largest. So long as you don't say that num1 is larger when they're equal. Do you understand what I'm saying? This would result in the correct answer. So if you had a 5 and a 3, it would result in a 5. If you have a 3 and a 5, well, and if you have a 3 and a 5, it would result in a 5. If you have a 5 and a 5, it would result in a 5, which is okay. So that is this solution is okay for this one. Did I not get rid of this guy here? No, that's fine. Okay, else if num1 equals num2. Okay. All right, how about, who wants to do number 6 for me? Sorry, question about this. Go ahead. Well, this specifically says 2 integers, so I would have done it. Okay. Yeah, so in that case, question? Okay, we have a volunteer for number 6. So you're going to do the declarations for me? Okay. So we're working on number 6. I had a few questions. These are good questions. I'm glad you guys have looked at this stuff. A few questions about 7, 8, 9, and 10. Other questions? Who's got a question?
It's not about like if it's a certain number, but like for this kind of thing, when on the test, are we going to have more space for it?
Yeah, this is just a brief practice sheet.
Okay, I was just making sure.
I'm going to let you at the back of the page, too, for the test. If number of customers, so that's just sort of number of customers exceeds 100, input, that we never input anything. Yeah, well, anyway, just assume it's input. Yeah. I'm just trying to make sure. Okay. So who would like to do, oh, sorry. Who would like to do, okay, so this is something you'll have to know, too. Hopefully everybody knows this by now. What type you pick based on the variables, right? Okay. And this is your declarations, and this is good. And this basically hits all of them. So who wants to do 7, 8? Who wants to do 7? 7? David is going to do 7. Well, since I said M or F, so one single character is generally character. Multiple characters generally string. So since I said M, that's one character, so that's why she picked character. That's correct. Okay, David's going to do 7. Any questions about this so far? David's going to do 7, and then who's going to do 8? Who's going to do 8? Who hasn't gone? You're going to do 8? Okay, good. All right. Question? Who's got questions? So ask me questions about. I'll be happy to go around and help you as we put these up there. Okay, why is zip code string? Good question. Why is zip code string? Abel? No, I'm sorry, Kevin? No, that would be constant. That would be constant.
Well, it's just a set, just like you said, for the phone number.
Okay, right. So the rule of thumb is, and this is not just C, this is a computer science rule. If we're not doing calculations on it, we use string. What if the zip code had a leading 0? And if it was integer, we wouldn't print the leading 0, okay? We usually do the same thing for phone numbers, for zip codes, for, well, I said that, social security numbers. Anything you don't do calculations on, the rule of thumb in computer science is to make it a string. Allows you to do sorting. It allows leading zeros to show up. So that's the rule of thumb always. Okay? Does that everybody understand that question, why zip code is string? Okay? Because if it had a leading 0, it might print it without all digits. Okay? So rule of thumb is to use string for that. Okay? So, all right. And then so you need to input the balance, though, too. And what did she call it? Should she call it balance? Is that what she called it above there? So we use the same variable, whatever she'd used.
Oh.
Okay? Not easy type in front of everybody, is it? Now you feel my pain. Okay, and then that guy should be indented, right? The C out should be indented. Right there, yep. Tab, just tab it.
Tab again.
Yep. Right? Okay. And then actually, okay, you're going to do the C in. No end-L here, just semicolon. Okay, good, thank you. All right, so now indentation, everything should be even. This should actually come over here. And then this guy should go in 1. Now we probably would want to do a prompt, actually. Okay, so who's doing 8? We already had a volunteer for that, right? And then 9, okay? Who's going to do 9? Okay. You don't want equals, right? Because it says more than, right? Okay, let's get ready so we can get these all. Dalton, you want to get ready to do the next one?
What do you mean by set it allowed to false? Is that
Okay, so what's the variable?
accounts?
Oh, it's called credit allowed. Go up top. Credit allowed. See, there's a bullet. Look at this guy. Okay, so grab. What type is credit allowed?
That's a rule.
Okay, so what should you do? No, don't declare it again. Just say credit allowed equals what? What does set mean, Gurdeep? Just told you. What does set mean? A sign. A sign. So credit allowed equals false. That's it. Okay? Out of the way. Let Dalton in. We want to get. I'm not trying to rush you guys. I just want to get as much done as we can. Well, I am trying to rush you. Okay. Okay. All right. So he's going to do number 8. So he's. Okay. Who's going to do 9? Oh, he's doing 9. Who's going to do 10? So I saw somebody had already done this one. You the one who done it? Okay. So get ready, please. And then I need somebody to do 11. Tyler, cue up, please. And then who's going to do 11? William? Yes. Please enter the currency in balance. A balance that is greater than 500. Yeah. Mm-hmm. No else. Why do you have an else? Why would you have else? Whoops. I'm going to kill myself here. Okay, next, Tyler. Okay, and then who's going to do 11? So this is I like this question 10 because this happens frequently where you have to when you're using a program where they give you choose a title or based on your gender. So he's going to input the customer name and gender. Just do the C in. You don't need to do the C out. Okay? We assume you would prompt, but in the interest of trying to get as much of this review sheet done as possible, we're going to skip the C out. It's already declared. It's already declared, right? Just input. Go ahead.
For number 9, why is it like a if output? Then the if else.
Well, so first of all, he's checking to see if num customers is greater than 100, time to hire. And then if number of customers is less than 50, hit the phones. It has to be that because you're checking to see if number of customers is less than 50. So in other words, it may not be between 50 and 100. You don't have to do anything. There's, yes, because else would mean that anything other than 100 would be hit. It's only going to be hit the phones if you go below a certain rate. Okay. Okay. Why is it 2 equals? What's the 2 equals? What's the difference between the 2 equals and the single equals? Single equals is a sign. That's not assigning. What is it doing? What's the double equals? Who can help? Not storing. What's double equals? Test for equality. Test for equality. It's just like a less than or equals, greater than or equals. Double equals is test for equality. Okay? So he needs to spell out both. He cannot say gender equals big F or little f. That will not work. That is incorrect. So he needs to do it this way. I probably would have put a second set of parentheses around each one just to be sure. Okay? I would have put separate parentheses around each guy just to be sure because I'm not, in case so you don't have to think about the order of operations and then one big set. Yeah. And then, so that'll print the correct, and then it'll print the name. Does everybody see how this guy's working? Okay. And then, okay, and then number 11. Do we need to do number 11? Yeah, let's do number 11 because that's also a good check here. Who's queued up to do 11? Who's queued up to do 11? Oh, William is. Right, okay. Okay, so he's going to copy and paste, which is good. And then he's changing this to M. Queuing up is William. Queuing up is William. Okay, and then you just need endels at the end or something at the end. Just semicolons are fine. Okay, good. Everybody got that? Any questions about this one? Okay, William's doing number 11. Okay, if you've already finished that sheet, go to the next one so you can ask me questions and you can be ready to put the answer in. If you've already finished this page, go to the next page. Just want to try to finish as much as we can so we can go to the review sheet. Okay. Okay, don't have to input, just it says, okay, if, just if. And go back up, right? What should you do for this one? If it's credit allowed, what should you check for? Credit allowed equals true, double equals true. So it's credit allowed. So credit allowed, that's the name of the variable right up top there, credit allowed. And do a double equals true. Okay, questions about the next page? Are we on the next page? What's the next page? Did we do some of these? I thought we did one on the... I don't have nothing left. Somebody took my, didn't somebody bring the selection sheet? Is this a selection sheet? Okay. Right, so double equals. What would happen, William, if you did single equals? It would sign it. So you want to do double equals. Okay. So now we have the movie prices. All right, so.
Sorry to take this question, but are you going to take off points if we make the eons bigger?
No.
I can't do it.
Okay, but make sure you put parentheses. Okay, customer. All right. I know it's hard, isn't it? See, everybody's getting every. Okay, good. That's it. Just endo. Okay, good. Thanks. Perfect. Okay, now I would, if in doubt, always put this extra set of parentheses because you don't want to have to be singing that song to yourself along the way. Okay? So. No quotations because you want the last name to print out. If I put quotations in the cout, it would print the actual string. So that is correct. Okay. All right, so let's look at the next one. Okay. Just in the interest of speed, I'm going to put a few of these in myself here. Okay. So for number 11, number 12. So this would be CN, H, and then how would I print 12? How would I check for 12 and under? If age is less than or equal to 12, cout $5. Else, if age is greater than or equal to 55, and everybody else is $2, is that what it is? 10. Okay, now this one, I'm just going to start this guy. If num credits, what is a freshman? Do you know? Tell me you know. Less than 30. Does everybody get the idea here? So that's the idea on that guy. I'm not going to finish that. Okay. How about this guy right here? Yeah. Thank you. Okay. And that would continue in that fashion. So how would I do if temp is between 80 and 100? Now you know how would you do it, Jared?
If temperature is greater than or equal to or greater than 80, what is the temperature?
Does everybody see this? And now I'm going to continue in the same fashion. So between 60 and 80. Now, why will this not work? So let's do one more. What am I doing here? Play golf. So why will this not work? What's wrong with this? If it's 80, it's swim. If it's less than 80, you play golf. Why would this have not worked? Can't do that, right? You've got to spell both out. Does everybody see that? Okay, so anyway, you finish that guy. Else, this is going to be greater than 100. La, 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 et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, how about number 15? This was one of the homework problems. Was it one of the homework problems? Is that what you said it was one of the homework problems? Okay, so who thinks they know how to solve this? Jared? So let's input them.
But on the homework, it would display the largest number.
Okay, so this is just a little different. That's all right. What's the logic here? Temp 1 is the largest if what?
If it is greater than temp 2 and temp 3. Temp 1 is greater than temp 2 and temp 1 is greater than temp 3.
Does that make sense, guys? Temp 1 is the largest if it's bigger than temp 1 and it's bigger than temp, what did I say? Temp 1 is the largest if it's bigger than temp 2 and bigger than temp 3. Does that make sense? Make sense? Okay. So then how do I put the largest value in max? What do I do? What's my step here?
Print temp 1.
Not print. Doesn't say print. It says store. Store sounds a lot to me, Gurdeep, like what? Set or assign. So what do I do? Anybody who's going to help me? Gabriella, what do I do here? And what's the largest in this case? Does that make sense? Store the largest value, which is temp 1, put that into max. Else, if we do the same thing, I'm missing a parenthesis here, by the way, I just noticed. Otherwise, so we have another paren here. What should I check for the second time? Temp 2 greater than temp 1. And temp 2 greater than temp 3. This should be max equals temp 3. And then we only have one more scenario because if temp 1's not the largest and temp 2's not the largest, then we know that what's the largest? Does this make sense to everybody? Okay. So let's look back at the sheet. I really don't want to spend much more time on this. Let's talk about these. Let me make this a little bigger so we can see it. What's wrong with number 16? Why are two ifs less efficient than an if-else? So, okay, test for both. Tyler, you want to add to that? In all cases. If I rewrite this like this, we might only have one test. So that's more efficient. Okay? The same thing is true of 17. If age is greater than 64, else if age is less than 18. Then we could probably make this just an else. So this could become else, and then this could become else. Okay? All right, what's the output for number 18? If x is 5. Can everybody see this? Let me make this one bigger. If x is 5, I'm looking at 18a. What is the output for A? 5, only 5. So if x is 5, the output is 5. Because it skips this guy and does this guy. What's the output if x is 2? 2, 2. Letter B. What's the output if x is 5? And what's the output if x is 2? Good. These are identical because the only difference here is indentation. Okay, letter C is a little tricky. Let's take a good look at letter C. If x is 5, what is the output? 5. And what is the, okay, why is it 5? Because this guy's always going to be done, right? Okay? Because this guy really looks like this. Whoops. Really looks like this. So if x is less than or 3, it does nothing. In all cases, it prints, so it's really no difference. So in all cases, this is going to print 5 or 2. What was is this guy here? Okay, what about, is this one, isn't this the same thing? Oh, these are the same thing, they're just different. C and D are the same. Question? Okay, number 19. If y is 5, what's the output for 19? you remember what the plus plus does? Adds 1. So if y is 5, what's the output? 6. Okay. Number 20 is an example of a what? Number 20 is an example of what's going on in number 20. Let's take a good look at number 20. What's number 20 an example of? What was that thing I talked about? Who said it? V? Dangling else. Number 20 is an example of a dangling else. This guy is dangling. We're not sure who he goes with. So what's the rule on the dangling else? Who does it go with? The nearest unmatched if. So it actually goes with this guy right here. So if I is 6 and j is 7, what is the output? True. Where'd that come from? It's either going to be good or bad, okay, or nothing. Okay, so let's look. If I is 6 and j is 7, this guy is true. So that means it comes in here, and it says, is m greater than 0, which it is, and it prints good. Okay? You with me? So if it's, so what if let's swap it around. Let's say, what if we say 7 and 6? What's the output if I is 7 and j is 6? No output. Question.
Will that second if run even if the first if is not true?
No, that's what we just did. So if it was 7 and 6, see, this guy actually looks like this. This will make more sense of it. Because the dangling else means the else goes with the nearest unmatched if. So if I is not less than set j, nothing will output in this case. Does everybody see that? Okay, good. Okay, because this else goes with this if. So if this guy fails, it doesn't do any part of this if else, of this if. These are together. Even though it's over here, that's a dangling else, and it goes with the nearest unmatched if, which is this guy.
Why is the there as well? I don't get it.
Just as an else. I mean, it's just. So in other words, if 6 is less than 7 and m is 0, bad would print. There are scenarios where bad would print. If this guy is true and this guy is false, bad's going to print. Okay, does that make sense? Oh, actually, okay. And I think we did this one. I know we did that guy. And then, all right. So let's look at some questions. Okay. Let's do a switch. I think we need to do a switch. So. I'm going to go ahead. So here we're going to input a letter grade. Let me come into C so it'll actually print. Okay. So this says input a letter grade. So how do I input? What type should letter grade be? Character. How do I input a letter grade? Okay, so how do I do a switch? What goes in here? What am I switching on? What goes after this? What's the first thing inside a switch? Okay, but case in this case is going to be A. So you can also use characters for. Okay? And if it's an A, what am I going to do? What also goes at the end of each case? What's my next case? Okay, so this is going to be the same for A, B, C, la, 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 la. If we wanted to do lowercase, good question. How would I do that? No, won't work here, unfortunately. Another case right below it, I can actually do it in the same guy. Whoops, except I want to fix my indenting. That's how I do multiple guys. The ORs don't work here. This is a funky control statement. See? No. Yeah, so it'll check the A. If it's not true, it'll go down. If the little a is true, it'll come in here, and then when it gets the break, it gets out. So this is going to be the same for A, B, C, D, and F. Okay, la, la, la. I'm not going to put that. What goes after the case F? Let's put the case F here. Default. Good, thank you. Okay, so everybody's going to fill that in for A, B, C, D, and F. Let's assume that this is the F case. And then we have one other case, not a case, we say default. And then this would be an error message, you know, invalid grade. And then that can have a break. It doesn't really need one because you're done anyway. And then you have your other brace there. Questions about that switch? Okay, I want to pop over to the review sheet, and I want to take questions first on the review sheet.